Hello and welcome to this week's movie review, where I'll be talking about Martin Scorsese's newest film, Killers of the Flower Moon. Can I just say how nice it is to be able to watch a Martin Scorsese movie in the theater in 2023? It's such a privilege as a fan. By far my favorite director. The Departed and Goodfellas are movies that I've watched like plenty. Just to name a few, obviously The Wolf of Wall Street, Raging Bull, Casino. The man has hits upon hits upon hits. And a lot of his stories do stem from true historical events. And I gotta say, I think this one in particular may be the most important historical movie he's made so far. And the reason why I say that is because it covers the story of the Osage Native Americans. And I had no idea about this story. I knew nothing about it. They never taught us this in school, as I'm sure they haven't taught us, many things, and especially nowadays. I had no idea about the story. To give you guys a brief plot synopsis, the film is about the Osage people, who were these group of natives who were on this plot of land. I believe it was around the Oklahoma region, if my memory serves me right, that wasn't really sustainable. But one day they discovered that oil is under the land, and a lot of the Osage people struck rich and became millionaires overnight. Again, a story that I had no idea about. I knew nothing about the Osage people. I knew nothing about this rich group of natives who had like white chauffeurs and stuff like that. I had no idea about that. So that kind of threw me off as well, because I just didn't know anything like that had existed. I didn't know that any of them had that kind of fortune, or should I say misfortune, because as they rise in their wealth, a lot of people around, I'm just going to say it, a lot of white people around, slowly but surely kind of become integrated into their community. Most marrying Osage women, running the bank, running certain areas of the community to kind of manage the people in a very twisted way. And that's not even getting into the whole Robert De Niro aspect of the story, who plays William King Hale, this kind of political figure who made his wealth on, I believe, cattle ranch, like cattle, you know what I mean? Cattle ranch is how he had his fortune, but he's just a presence in the movie. He's kind of looming over everything, and very much a guy who's like in love with the Osage people, but for all the wrong reasons. And kind of puts up this front as to that he's their friend. He speaks the language. He's very much part of the community. He goes to church. He's at weddings. He's at funerals. You know what I mean? His presence is always felt throughout the movie. He is actually the uncle to one Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Ernest Burkhart. I believe who's returning from the French War. Some war was going on, and he's coming back, and his uncle's trying to put him on to the stuff like that, telling him where to go, how was the war, how was everything over there, and just kind of giving him like jobs, telling him what to do, just kind of putting him on. Like we've seen this story before, where a guy comes back from war, comes back from being away, he comes back, and he gets put on, to essentially being like a taxi driver. He drives the Osage people around. That's the other thing. Like I said, they had white drivers, they had white assistants, white maids. It all felt very surreal watching it, because we're so used to seeing, the I was gonna say the people from the Caucasus Mountains, the Caucasian, the white people, basically. What the fuck am I doing? But we're trying to be politically correct with the term white. The white people who have, always had like people of color as their servants, as their handlers. And Ernest Burkhart actually ends up giving a ride to Molly Burkhart. Well, Molly, who is a member of the Osage Nation. Molly Burkhart, who is played by Lily Gladstone, who delivers, in terms of performances, top of the bill, top of the bill. And I saw that she got a standing ovation, I believe, at Cannes, or Cannes. I never knew how to pronounce it. And it's very well deserved. Her performance is just heartbreaking. Every time she's on screen, it just is. It's so, I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's just heavy, And she comes across as so funny in the beginning, and so lighthearted, joking, and even flirting a little bit with DiCaprio. But you just kind of see her, be numb to everything, and not just be numb, but also be very paranoid about the situation. You know what I mean? On the surface, she's very numb, very, And I love her delivery. Her line delivery in this movie was fantastic. I mean, it was very much like, I don't know. I saw interviews and Lily Gladstone kind of talks like that in real life. So I mean, I don't know how much of that was like her putting on some form of dialect and her just like being herself. But I loved her delivery. Whenever she talked, I was just like, wow, she says things so interestingly. I don't want to get into too much spoilers. I'll just say that the Osage people and their wealth definitely becomes a target amongst the non-native people in the community. I would just leave it at that. And De Niro's at the head of that. And fucking DiCaprio is his Robin to his Batman. You know what I mean? He's his right. He's just always there and just a willing participant. I'll just kind of give everything that's in the trailer. Molly's character ends up marrying Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Ernest. And through that, De Niro becomes kind of a puppet master of saying, oh, do this or oh, do that, kind of pushing DiCaprio in a direction to one day hopefully gain the Osage nation's wealth. I keep saying nation, the Osage people's wealth, and in particular Molly's wealth, because she, and I believe her whole family are very, very wealthy. As mentioned earlier, the film is directed by Martin Scorsese, and at 80 years old, this guy is pumping out movies like this. You know what I mean? I know people were iffy on The Irishman. I personally enjoyed it, and the ending to that movie is very, very heavy. You know what I mean? When you really think about it, I'm 26 right now. I think most people consider me a younger person, but the ending to that movie was just so like, and that last shot, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, of De Niro is just haunting, really haunting. So I like that one. I actually missed Silence, the one starring Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver and Liam Neeson, about the priests that go over to, I believe, Japan and try to convert them to Christianity, I believe, or Catholicism. I believe that's the right term. I missed that one. I haven't seen that one, so I definitely want to get to it. But as the rest of his films, I should drop my phone. But as far as his filmography, I have seen most of the movies that are in it. But back to it though, 80 years old, and you have Scorsese putting out a movie, like I said, so important, a story that to me is like by far out of all his, and I love, like I said, The Departed to me is like my favorite movie from him. But Goodfellas is right there, and honestly, like certain days it alternates. For him to put out a movie like this, and for him to realize that the story needed to be told more from really like the POV of Molly almost. I mean, it is DiCaprio's character who's the main guy that we're following, but I mean Molly's his wife, and you see the horrors that this group of people ended up going through. Just horrific. You know, I know this is like, it's supposed to be Spooktober, and I've been reviewing a lot of horror movies this month. And honestly, out of all the ones I've seen, this is the most horrific. Like I said, it is like based on a true story and stuff like that. And there's actually a book on it that I'm planning to get. And it is just haunting, bro. It is just this element to see how these group of, I mean, I don't want to say colonizers because they're already there, you know what I'm saying? Or in terms of like De Niro's character. But these kind of leeches, you know what I mean? These leeches and these there's an awesome line in the trailer that's very awesome in the movie as well, where Lily Gladstone's character says, "Can you see the wolves in this picture?" And it's a group of people in the trailer. And I believe it's a painting in the movie. I can't remember. That, you know, you know what I'm saying? That just these group of wolves, and there is some lightheartedness to it. There is some like jokey parts to the movie. There's always jokey parts in a Scorsese movie. I think he does that very well, and I don't think he like lingers on it too much. There's parts that are like play, you know, a little comedic levity to the story. He does that fantastically. The pace is bro. The pace of this movie, which is 3.5 hours long. I know a lot of people who see that are just like 3.5 hours. That's insane. For me, as a Scorsese fan, I'll take it. I'll take a 4-hour movie. You know what I mean? The pace of this movie is very, very well done. The first 2 hours, I'd say even I'd say the 3 hours do fly by. The only time I felt the only it's funny. The only time that I felt the length of the movie was towards the end, and that was just because I needed to move around physically. I just felt like I needed to like stretch. I was stretching my back. I was arching my back, stretching my legs out, just because it was like, like I said, just in being in your seat for that long, and I didn't want to walk around or anything like that, but towards the end, I was kind of like, oh my god, this is like physically, this is like physically a little taxing, just because I love to stretch a little bit. But other than that, dude, like I said, the pace I thought was fantastic. I hardly felt the first hour, to be honest with you. The only time I was checking my phone was because I was getting calls and texts from one of my friends that needed something. And I think Scorsese has done such a good job over the years of showing me how people behave, of teaching me about people, I should say. He's done that better than I think most directors, to be honest with you. Like I said, he's definitely my favorite by far. And just seeing how he puts these people on display, in particular, like I said, De Niro's character and the people around De Niro, you know what I mean? He's like his like little crew, because he does have other people that we see reoccurring. Like I said, no spoilers or anything like that, but there's some doctors that are in his pocket. He has other people in his pocket. Seeing how these people think, and it's so casual to them, you know what I mean? That's what really fucked me up. It was so casual for them to do the things that they end up doing in this movie. I want to give a minor spoiler away, but I don't know if I want to or not, because it's kind of a big thing in the movie. But it's a very subtle thing. I don't want people to miss it. I'll just say this. There's an explosion that happens. They're trying to take a person out in the movie. I'll just leave it very, very vague. They're trying to take a person out in the movie, and De Niro hires someone who's, who does that kind of shit. They try to take someone out with explosives. De Niro, I believe, takes a trip somewhere. He ends up coming back. So whenever De Niro gets back, they see the remains, and they see the remains of the house. You know what I mean? The remains of the house and the destruction that the dynamite and the explosives did to the house. And right when he's about to get out, the guy who he's riding with, De Niro, is just like, maybe too much TNT or maybe too much dynamite. And De Niro lets out a little chuckle and steps out. And it's just that scene that really puts into perspective how casual these motherfuckers were doing this stuff. You know what I mean? Like how casual this genocide was. Yeah, I didn't want this review to be too long. I highly recommend the movie. I don't want to get too deep into it. I think the cinematography is fantastic. The editing, actually, I'm going to shout out the cinematographer and the editor, because I think they did a hell of a job, and they both deserve to be recognized. Okay, cinematography by Rodrigo Preto. I don't know if it's Preto or not, but shout out to Rodrigo. And editing, where's the editing at? Oh, did I not have it? Oh, Schoonmaker. Edited by Thelma Schoonmaker, who did a fantastic job, like I said, of keeping the pace and keeping the way everything's constructed is just fantastic. I know she's done a couple Scorsese movies before, and she knocked it out of the park again. And I just want to end the review on this. This story wasn't well known. Like I said, I don't think anyone that I know knew about it. They didn't teach us this in school about this group of rich Native Americans who owned all this land, who were just taken out silently by these group of white dudes. It's very heavy. It's actually, there was because I googled the movie earlier to see the cast and everything like that. I thought the whole cast is a fantastic job. There's a description that was on Google that I thought was fantastic. Yeah, so when you Google the movie, they have a release date and they have a in a nutshell section, and it says epic, which I agree with, unsettling, and intense. The unsettling part definitely has stuck with me after seeing the movie. The fact that this thing just happened so casually, it'll stick with you. I think it'll stick with you. I remember having a teacher in school. I'll leave you guys with this. A teacher in school who told me, I believe she was a history teacher, or she was an English teacher, and she was going through either a book or something to do with the Native American people, or Native people, I should say. And she kind of almost broke down in tears, and she was just like, and we were all kind of like, well, what's up, what's wrong, you know what I mean? She was visibly shaken. And she said, I've been teaching for 25 years, and it just breaks my heart that I've never had a Native American student in my class. I've never had a Native student in my class. And that has stuck with me all these years later. You know what I mean? I'm from Texas, so you know what I mean? And if anyone's watching this in America, and you just want to, like, if you just want a taste, or you want an example of how these people were done, go through your contacts. Take out your phone, scroll through your contacts, and tell me how many people of Native American heritage you have in your phone. Because I know I don't have any. I'm sure if I do like a 23andMe, I might have some. But in terms of direct, Native American people, no, I don't. I know there's a reservation in Mesquila, Texas, where they have a casino and shit like that. And I know that reservation, but in terms of people on my phone, no, I don't. And it's just so depressing to think about. It's just so heavy to think about. I think, like I said, I think this is one of his most important films that he's made. And the fact that he decided to tell this story at 80 years old and really put it out there, you know what I mean? Not cut no fucking corners. He's not trying to say, he's not trying to play the double-sided of like, De Niro's funny. De Niro's kind of funny. It's like, no. He's a piece of shit. Even with DiCaprio, you know what I mean? DiCaprio's a little more gray, but at the end of the day, he did the things that he did in this movie. And I just love that. I just love that there was so many people now are like the anti-hero, this gray area. And I understand why. Humans are complex, for sure. But when it comes to the historical aspect of this story, and when it comes to the genocide of these people, it is black and white. Those people that committed these atrocities are evil. I know there's a lot of conflict going on right now in the Middle East. And I look at stories like this, and I look at other examples in history or in fiction even, and it just makes you think. And I think this movie definitely did that to me. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. I believe it's coming out on Apple TV. I'm not sure when, maybe November. So if you don't have a chance to see it in the theater, for me, Scorsese, you got to see it in the theater. But if you just don't have the time, or 3 hours is a lot, I understand. I think this deserves 3 hours of your attention, 3 hours of your time rather. It's fantastic. It really is fantastic. It's fantastically made, well directed, well edited, everything. I think it's really, really good. I highly recommend this movie. And as far as Scorsese, hey, I mean, you've done it again, my friend. You know what I mean? You've done it again. And I don't have a hat on, but I tip it to you, because to be 80 years old and to do a story like this, and apparently he's been wanting to do this since like 2016. So the fact that he did this is just incredible. It's just incredible. Shout out to DiCaprio, who knocked it out of the park fucking again. You know what I mean? Again, straight up. De Niro at 80 again, pumping out a performance like this, bro. He's such a fucking presence in this movie. I'm all excited and shit. Lily Gladstone, beautiful performance, heartbreaking performance. Every time she was on screen, I just wanted to hug her. You know what I mean? I just wanted to grab her and yank her out of that situation, and yeah, I mean, everyone else in the movie I thought did a fantastic job. Jesse Plemons, who he's actually prominently in the trailer and stuff like that. He did a fantastic job. I'm trying to think who else on top of my head, man. Everyone did a fantastic job, man. Everything was top notch, as it usually is with the Scorsese movie. But I'm not gonna hold you guys for much longer. Very important that I think you see this movie once again. Thank you so much for watching this. Leave a like if you feel inclined. Comment down below have you seen the movie. What did you think about it? Did you know about the Osage people? Did you know about the Tulsa race riots that were even featured in the movie that I had no idea about? I had to look up later. Just a lot of shit that we're not taught, a lot of shit that we're not taught. And to discover those kind of stories or that kind of history so late in my life is just, I don't know. I feel failed. I feel failed for not knowing these kind of things, but they were never taught to me. I didn't even bother to reach out about it and stuff like that. It's just, it's very frustrating, to learn these facts after. Like I said, I highly recommend the movie. Thank you guys for watching this. We're continuing the spooky movies. I believe this Thursday, I'll be reviewing Infinity Pool, which came out earlier this year or late last year, starring Mia Goth, and I think, is it Bill Skarsgård? Or William Skarsgård, I believe? The guy that was in, what the fuck was it? Sorry. Alexander Skarsgård. So that will be Thursday. And I believe The Exorcist is coming next week, the new one that they made. I don't even know what it's called. I heard it wasn't good, but my cousin Miguel does this tradition where he rents out a movie theater. We all dress up in costumes, watch the movie. He's been doing it since 2020, so I believe this year we're watching the new Exorcist. I believe so. I'm not sure, either that or Saw, so it's one of the two. So that might be next week's, and we're probably in the month of October with that review. Which I heard it was a shitty movie, man, but I don't know. We'll see what's up. You know what I mean? The original Exorcist scared the shit out of me, so I mean, if that's worth anything, then there you go. But thank you guys for watching once again. That'll do it for me. Marty, you are a legend. You are a legend, man. Thank you so much for this movie. And yeah, that'll do for this week's episode. Appreciate your time. Till next time, peace.